Hey, how's it going, everyone? I hope you all are excited for Winter Low On coming up soon. Surely we'll see some W's that are coming to the game, right? And I'm coping our female paladin as the next class, but that probably won't happen. Anyways, today's video will cover Echidna Gate 2. I went over all mechanics, gimmicks, and most important attacks. If you have enjoyed this guide, feel free to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. With that out of the way, let's get into the video. The battle items you want to bring along for Echidna Gate 2 will be Dark Grenade, Flame Grenade, Atropine, and Sleep Bomb. Supports will bring Stimulant. A few players in the raid should bring Flame Grenade for the 100% identity mechanic in Phase 2 that I will discuss later on. At minimum, 2 players should bring Dark Grenade. In addition, 1 support player needs to assign themselves as Fly Trap. This is for a special attack that occurs in Phase 1. Before we dive into the major mechanics, let's go over the identity mechanics that occur in the first phase of this fight. You will notice that there are some tiles on the map that are pink when the fight starts. You will also see 2 tiles on the map that are blue. The tiles that are blue always spawn at the edge of the map. The location is random. These tiles are important for various reasons. Echidna will do the mirror identity mechanic at 50% and 100% identity in this phase. When this mechanic starts, your camera will zoom out and you will see a circle surrounding your character. Echidna will teleport to one of the blue tiles, and a mirror will spawn on the other blue tile. Everyone needs to form a path going from the mirror to the boss. The mirror is going to shoot out a light that bounces off the closest player. The goal is to be somewhat close to each other so that the light can keep bouncing off each player until it reaches the boss. However, you do not want to be too close to each other. If the circle surrounding your character happens to greatly overlap and touch another player, that player will get charmed. The circles can overlap, but it cannot touch another player. In addition, you can have 2 players standing on the same tile in both normal and hard mode. When this mechanic starts, a light beam is going to point in a random direction coming from the mirror. 1 player needs to stand in the direction that the light beam is pointing so that the light touches that player. Every other player needs to form a path that goes to the boss. The light will keep bouncing until it hits the boss. If it does not hit the boss, heavy damage will occur. If this fails twice, it is a wipe. If both blue tiles are right next to each other when this mechanic starts, you will have less room to work with. In this case, it is okay to stand on the same tile as the boss and the same tile as the mirror. If you stand on a tile that is not pink, that tile will turn pink when the mechanic is finished. However, if you stand on a tile that is pink, that tile will be cleansed and turned back to normal when the mechanic is finished. In addition, when this mechanic is finished, the blue tiles will go away and spawn again in a random location. Ideally, every tile that a player is standing on for this mechanic should be pink, but this is not always possible. As long as a flower is not formed, it is okay. A flower can form when a clean tile is completely surrounded by pink tiles. When a flower generates, anyone nearby will rapidly get charm stacks. At 3 stacks, the player will get charmed, and you'll be forced to use Sleep Bomb to free that player. It can make the fight more chaotic than it has to be. There are ways to generate pink tiles throughout the fight, and as stated above, the way to clean them up is during the mirror mechanic. At 25 and 75% identity, the boss will crouch on the ground and turn all pink tiles to red tiles. Standing on these red tiles will quickly give you charm stacks, so watch your feet. 2 random players will get a pink circle under their feet and their camera will zoom out. When the circle goes away, whatever tile that player was standing on will turn pink. These 2 players need to drop a pink tile in between the blue tiles that are on the map, so that it can be cleansed during the mirror mechanic. Another 2 players will get a target above their head and a telegraph attached to them. After a moment, the telegraph will lock on and fire in that direction. This telegraph does a ton of damage. Be sure to stand still and wait for the telegraph to become more transparent. Then you can move out and avoid damage. A support player should scout around the map and call out the clock positions of the blue tiles. The first major mechanic happens when the enraged timer hits 7 minutes and 40 seconds or below. A dialog box will be shown and flower petals will spawn on the map. All pink tiles will turn into red tiles. The support player assigned to Fly Trap needs to ping where everyone will gather up. Ideally, everyone should gather up at least 6 tiles away from the boss. The support player will need to use their awakening skill and a skill that gives them damage reduction for a few seconds. Afterwards, a blue telegraph will occur on that tile. The support needs to get hit by this telegraph. Everyone else will need to move out. When the fly trap is activated by the support, everyone else can move back in. When the fly trap spits the support player back out, wait a few seconds, then you can go back to the boss. The second major mechanic happens at 212 HP lines or below. A cutscene will occur. After the cutscene, you will see mirrors in front of you. Every mirror has the face of Echidna, but only one of them is different from the rest, with the face looking in the other direction. You need to walk up to the mirror that is different and counter it. You will have to do this 8 times in total. If you counter the incorrect mirror, you'll be petrified and someone will have to free you. If you take too long to identify the correct mirror and counter it, the mirrors will go away and everyone will take heavy tick damage. It would be best if both parties split up during this mechanic, having party 1 deal with the left side and party 2 deal with the right side. Once you counter the mirror 8 times, the boss will be staggered on the ground. This will be the best time to use the Echidna Sidereal. At 4 minutes and 30 seconds, another special attack will occur. The boss will show a dialog box and a map-wide telegraph will be shown. Next to the boss will be safe. In addition, all pink tiles will turn into red tiles. After the telegraph goes away, everyone will have a tether attached to them. The goal is to get to the opposite side of the map and break the tether in time. If you do not break the tether, you'll be charmed after 10 seconds. If this occurs, players should be ready to use Sleep Bomb to free you. Butterflies will also spawn and travel in random directions during this attack. If you get hit by a butterfly, you will be stunned. This attack can be chaotic if there are a lot of pink tiles in the middle or edges of the map. This is because the pink tiles turn red when this attack occurs. You may need to spacebar through the red tiles if they're directly in front of you. If you hit 2 minutes or below on the enrage timer, and the boss is not phased to 137 HP lines, the fly trap mechanic may occur again. At 137 HP lines or below, the next phase will start. A cutscene will occur, then you will fight Big Echidna. The goal in this phase is to deal enough stagger to the boss. At the start of this phase, blue lines will spawn from the boss that will move outwards. The blue lines will electrocute you for a few seconds if you get hit. In normal mode, all blue lines will spawn, then go away, then spawn again. When it goes away, you can simply walk through it to avoid being electrocuted. In hard mode, the first blue line will spawn, then go away, then spawn again. When it goes away, you should walk through it instead of wasting your spacebar. This is because the second blue line that spawns is static and will not go away, forcing you to spacebar through it. The third blue line will be the same as the first one. Everyone should avoid electrocution and focus on dealing as much stagger as you can. During the blue lines, the boss will fire a laser on a right or left side. If you get hit, you will generate a charm stack. After the third blue line, the boss will queue up for a co-op counterattack. In normal mode, she will always glow blue. In hard mode, she can glow red, then glow blue. If she glows red, do not counter the boss. This is a fake counter, and if someone hits it, she will deal massive damage. Be patient and wait for the boss to glow blue, then co-op counter the boss. You should still focus on dealing stagger even while she's pinned to the ground. If you dealt enough stagger, she will immediately show a dialog box after being pinned to the ground. If so, everyone will need to gather at 6 o'clock, and one player will need to press a G to perform a clash mechanic. This is similar to Echidna Gate 3. In hard mode, the boss will fire hearts in random directions. If it hits a player, the player will lose control of their character and walk towards the boss. Support will need to shield any players that got hit as they will take heavy damage. When the clash occurs, you will see a buff above your HP bar. When the buff hits 16 seconds, the raid leader should walk up to Echidna and use the Thar Sidereal. Thar will deal massive stagger to the boss. If done properly, with enough stagger, the boss will be staggered on the ground, then you'll proceed to the next phase. In this next phase, the boss has some new patterns in addition to her charm patterns being enhanced. I will discuss these patterns towards the end of the video. At 120 HP lines or below, the Snake Clash mechanic will start. The boss will teleport away and appear left side of the map. You will see a blue telegraph at 11 o'clock and 7 o'clock. The raid leader will need to use Thar Sidereal at 11 o'clock so that Thar can clash for you. Then another player will need to wait at 7 o'clock until the blue telegraph appears, then perform the clash. Dark Grenade and Atropine are very important during this mechanic. When the snake at the top reaches 62 HP lines, Thar will finish off the rest. So everyone will need to go to 7 o'clock and continue to deal damage to the bottom snake. In Tier 4, it is recommended to use your Hyper Awakening on the black snake at 7 o'clock. If the black snake does not die, the clash mechanic will continue periodically until it dies. When the 2 snakes are dead, the boss will have a debuff increasing the damage she takes by 30%. It is important to kill both snakes as soon as you can. Without this debuff, it is difficult to finish the fight due to lack of damage. At 50% identity, the boss will stand still and Ren will show a dialogue box. The raid leader should use the Inferno Sidereal here, as it will give everyone a great window to deal damage. In hard mode, the boss will do a special timed pattern in his phase. We call this jump rope. She will levitate in the air and flower petals will spawn on the ground. Afterwards, your battle items and abilities will be locked. The boss will spawn a total of 6 red circles that you need to spacebar through. In this pattern, everyone's spacebar has a very short cooldown. If you do not spacebar through the red circle, you'll be charmed for a long time. If this occurs, someone will have to free you with Sleep Bomb when this pattern ends. After the last red circle, the boss will show a map-wide telegraph where next to her is safe. Once the telegraph goes off, move away from her, as she will spawn multiple red telegraphs next to her. At 100% identity, the boss will take reduced damage, then move to the middle of the map. Party 1 will go ×3 and Party 2 will be ×3 plus 1 position. Everyone will need to look away from the boss during this attack. If you look at her, you will get charm stacks. Snakes will start spawning from the edge of the map and slowly move towards the boss. If any snake reaches the boss, it is a wipe. The snakes themselves do not take damage, but they die due to total amount of hits. Flame Grenade is very good for this mechanic. During all this, a random player will periodically get a target on them and a pink telegraph that follows them. If you have the target, you need to keep the telegraph steady and not move around too much. When the telegraph turns blue, it will lock on and you will need to move out to avoid getting hit. If you do get hit, you'll be charmed and someone will have to free you. At 55 HP lines or below, the next mechanic will occur. The boss will teleport away and a mirror will spawn in the middle, with multiple mirrors surrounding the middle. In normal mode, this mechanic is very simple. You need to stand behind a mirror, with your character facing the mirror, and complete the stagger check. If your character happens to look away from the mirror, you'll be petrified and take a lot of damage. Once the stagger check is complete, the mechanic is finished. In hard mode, this mechanic is very different. At the start, a random mirror on the outside will glow red. This indicates where the mechanic will start from. The mirror in the middle will show Echidna moving left or right 5 times in total. If she goes right, it is clockwise. If she goes left, it is counterclockwise. You will need to memorize these 5 patterns, as this will tell you what mirror is the real one you have to stagger. In addition, the boss may swap the real mirror to a different position. It will be noted by this animation I'm showing on screen now. As an example, in this clip the red mirror is at 11 o'clock. In the middle, Echidna moved right, right, left, right, right. Or in other words, clockwise 2 times, counterclockwise, then clockwise 2 more times. This means the real mirror is at 3 o'clock. And because the mirrors swap position, it ended up being at 9 o'clock. If you stagger the incorrect mirror, it is a wipe. In normal mode, all you need to do is burn down the boss at 0 HP lines to end the fight. In hard mode, there is a 0 bar mechanic I will discuss now. A cutscene will occur, then the boss will move to the middle. She will perform 3 attacks, then attempt to grab someone in front of her, noted by a yellow telegraph. One person should get grabbed by the boss. Afterwards, there will be 3 tendrils in the middle of the map that highlight. You need to memorize the order in which they highlighted. Afterwards, the boss will attempt to knock back all players. You can spacebar after the 3rd tendril highlighted to prevent knockback or use a push immune skill. The grad player will be thrown at 12 o'clock and will be charmed for a long time. The boss will face the direction of the highlighted areas in order from first to last. She will either glow red first or glow blue. If she glows red, do not counter. Then she will turn to the second highlighted area and glow red or blue. Then she will turn to the last highlighted area and glow blue. There are only 2 set patterns for this attack. If she glows red at the start, the next 2 counters will be real. If she glows blue at the start, the second one will be red with the last one being blue. It will be red, blue, blue, or blue, red, blue. Focus on countering the boss, then afterwards, free the player that was grabbed at 12 o'clock. The raid leader should use Echidna at this point, and everyone should focus on damaging the boss. She will continue to do the grab to counter pattern after every 3 attacks until she is dead. Now we will go over some attacks that can give you charm stacks, in addition to other notable attacks. When you get hit by a charm pattern, you will get a debuff that lasts 30 seconds. If you get 3 stacks of this debuff, you will be charmed. The charm is similar to Echidna Gate 2. When you are charmed, you will lose control of your character and randomly attack other players. Your fellow players will need to use crowd control abilities or use sleep bomb to free you. Fly away. The boss will fly back and throw flowers on the ground and shoot out a frontal cone telegraph. She will do this 2 times in total. In Phase 2, she will do this 3 times in total. The flowers on the ground and the front telegraph will give you a charm stack if you are hit. Ribbon. The boss will stand still for a bit, target a random player, and throw a ribbon in front of her. If no one is hit, she will spin around and attempt the same attack again. If someone does get hit by the ribbon, they will be stunned, then the boss will follow up with an AoE attack. This AoE attack will give you a charm stack. If you notice that someone is hit, you should danger ping and get away. Multiple ribbons. The boss will fire multiple ribbons in front of her, noted by a red telegraph. If no one is hit, she will not follow up with an attack. However, if someone does get hit, she will do an attack from her front side, then back side. If you position yourself on her right side, you'll be safe from both attacks. Both the front and back attack will give you a charm stack. Dance. The boss will attack twice in front of her, with the third attack being a ring around her. Then she will fly up in the air and land on the ground. When she lands, the ring attack that occurs from landing will give you a charm stack. Do not stand super close to the boss when she's done with the third attack. This is because when she flies up in the air, she will throw up anyone in the air that is next to her. Then she will throw you far away, which can cause you to get hit by the last attack that gives you a charm stack. In Phase 2, this attack is basically the same, except a red telegraph will spawn under everyone's feet when she flies up in the air. The red telegraph that spawns under your feet does not generate a charm stack. Blue stagger check. The boss will walk forward and show a stagger bar. A few players will have a target on them. The players with the target need to move out as blue telegraphs will drop under their feet. If anyone gets hit by the blue telegraphs, you will get a charm stack. The targeted players need to move out so that everyone else can focus on staggering the boss. I don't have footage of this, but if the stagger check were to fail, she will follow up with a large blue telegraph attack. Getting hit by this will give you a charm stack. Enhanced Ribbon. This attack only occurs in Phase 2. It is similar to Ribbon in Phase 1 with a twist. She will fire a ribbon in front of her up to 3 times in total. If anyone gets hit, that player will be stunned and should be freed using multi-hit skills. If the player is not freed, an AoE attack around that player will occur that generates a charm stack. In addition, if anyone gets attacked at all, the boss will still follow up with an AoE attack that generates a charm stack. As stated earlier, when the tiles on the map in Phase 1 turn red during special attacks, like the 25 and 75% identity pattern, standing on those tiles will give you a charm stack quickly. You need to watch your feet and move out of them. Retaliate. The boss will show a large pink aura around her. This is a retaliate pattern. If you deal enough stagger to the boss, she will retaliate, dealing a ton of damage. 4 mirrors. The boss will summon 4 mirrors around her. Every mirror will show a light beam that will target a random player. After a few moments, the beam will lock onto the player's current position and attack. This does a ton of damage if you were to get hit by multiple beams at the same time. If you are targeted by the beam, do not move around too much as you may cause someone else to get hit by them. 8 mirrors. The boss will summon 8 mirrors around her. You will need to get away quickly. Multiple red telegraphs will be shown on the map. You need to stand next to one of the red telegraphs and wait for the attack to occur, then keep walking. This is because a beam is following you and it does quite a bit of damage. The red telegraph itself will stun you if you were to get hit. Since you'll need quite a bit of room to run away from the beam that is following you, you need to wait for the red telegraph attack to occur, then start walking. 5 hearts. The boss will jump back and fire 5 hearts in front of her. Then she will follow up with the red telegraph attack. If you get hit by the heart, you'll be stunned for a few seconds. This attack is basically free damage if you don't get hit by any of the hearts. Many hearts. The boss will stand still and show a heart above her head. After a moment, she will fire a lot of hearts in random directions. If you get hit, the boss will teleport behind you and grab anyone in front of her. Afterwards, a stagger check will occur that is really easy to complete. The players that were grabbed will have a pink circle under their feet. After a few moments, the circle will go away and generate a pink tile wherever that player is standing. Left and right attack. The boss will step back and attack to her left side, then step back again and attack to her right side. Both of these attacks have a wide range and do moderate damage. Octagon. This is a free DPS pattern. She will perform 2 attacks in front, then a follow-up octagon attack around her where inside is safe. Red balls. The boss will fire 2 red balls in front of her, then eventually travel back. Then the boss will step back and fire multiple red balls in front of her that will then travel back and behind her. Getting hit by all of them do a lot of damage. Co-op counter. This attack only occurs in phase 2. The boss will raise her hands in the air, then perform a series of AoE attacks. She will show multiple pizza telegraphs, then follow up with yellow telegraphs. Afterwards, she will glow blue for a counter. To easily dodge this, stand a bit away from her and don't stand on the pizza telegraphs. After she does a yellow telegraph attack, move in front of her and prepare to counter. You will need 2 people total for this counter to succeed. Yellow mirror. This attack only occurs in phase 2. The boss will showcase a mirror in front of her. After a few moments, a yellow telegraph will spawn under everyone's feet. You will need to react to this quickly and move out to avoid getting grabbed. If you do get grabbed, you will be thrown far away. Medusa. A Medusa eye will be shown above Echidna's head. You will need to look away from her. If anyone looks at the boss, she can follow up with a spin attack, knocking up anyone around her. Or she can teleport to a random player and try to grab that player quickly, noted by a yellow telegraph. If a player gets grabbed, a stagger check will occur. White snake. The boss will envelop herself with a white snake and flower petals will spawn on the ground. This is a free DPS pattern. Stand as close as you can to the boss and continue to deal damage. Flower petals will spawn on top of you, but they are very delayed. The timing to get out is when the white snake starts moving. And that will wrap up the Echidna Gate 2 guide. This gate is many times more difficult than Gate 1 for various reasons. The best tip I can give you is to respect the charm patterns. It is the #1 reason people wipe during progging, or even during the reclear parties. The next guide I plan on releasing is Behemoth. I don't think people need it at this point considering how easy the raid is, but I will make it anyway since I'm going in order. Aegir Tier 4 raid will be up shortly after that. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.